time for the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. And first of all, congrats on another win and a couple here on the road. I have to imagine that makes those mean a little something extra after that storyline earlier this year.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, those road games, especially in our division, are huge coming down in December. And December football, when you're playing for meaningful games, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what you play for. And I mean, I know you love offense, and for you guys, now including the postseason, you've scored 30 or more points 19 times since the start of the 2020 season, most such games in the NFL during that span, and you're 7-0 when doing it this season. So first of all, what do you think is the reason for being able to hit that mark so often, and why it is such an indicator of team success?
Yeah, I think it's continuity a lot, having everybody there, not missing too many guys. Mm-hmm. Our offensive line is playing fantastic. I mean, great pass protection, good job in the run game. And I think Tom's playing at a very, very high level, but the guys around him, everybody's making plays.
Yeah, and Ali was back to be part of that continuity on the offensive line, and that was so interesting when he did miss time to realize that has not been a thing, that this offensive line getting to all play together so much has been such a huge part of it. How excited were you to have him back and just what he brings to that offensive line?
Yeah, he graded out like 95%. It was one of his best games coming back from the injury. And he's such a great player in the middle of that pocket. There's no pressure coming in the middle of that pocket. He and Ryan did a heck of a job. Cap had a tougher day, but we miss Ali when he's not out there. But Aaron Stinney did step in and do a heck of a job. And Nick Leverett last week. So you can't say enough about the whole group.
Yeah, that's got to give you some peace of mind to know that the depth is where it is of all position groups. I'm sure that one is not. It's not one that's easy to find depth in either.
No, especially at tackle. But we knock on wood, we've been very fortunate there.
And then this first drive, this was incredible. All 13 plays were passes. And Brady matched career highs for completions and attempts. And we talk about Brady and different records, and usually they're league things because he's just been around for so long. But when you hear it's something that's a career high for Brady, that's saying something. That means that hasn't happened a whole lot. In the first quarter, 15 completions and 19 attempts, ended up throwing the ball 51 times in the game. Tell me this pass-heavy idea when you guys were not down, what was kind of lending itself for that?
Yeah, we wanted to stay on the attack, but the way they were playing, we have a lot of dual calls, runs and passes. Tom puts us in the best play, and they were giving us what we were looking for in the passing game, so he wasn't getting touched, so just keep throwing it.
Yeah, and do you view it as different in terms of all these throwing it 51 times, that it wasn't necessarily a ton of deep shots, that a lot of them were some of these checkdowns or just screens out to Lenny and guys like that? Does that view in your mind almost make it kind of part more of the run game, some of those short passes, and that it's a very different
definitely.
idea?
Those quick screens and stuff, they're just outside running plays.
Yeah.
That's just a long handoff. And so it's that's an extension of the running game. Sometimes there were runs and we threw it out to Mike or somebody and it was a better play. So just take what the defense is giving you.
And apparently the defense was giving you Chris Godwin over and over and over and over. You got your money's worth out of him in that game. 15 catches, 143 yards, breaks the franchise record for single game catches, most by any player this season. Why was this the day of Chris Godwin?
Yeah, again, when they do want to double outside, especially Mike, that opens up the middle of the field for Chris. And he is just dynamic because he's so tough. And that toughness in the run game blocking, but as a receiver, the quick screens, taking those shots over the middle. He's got great hands and he's quick after the catch. So really made a great catch down the left sideline for the big plays too. So Chris is just a hell of a player.
And I have to mention, how impressive is it that he can get that many catches when he's also a guy that commits to blocking and the run game so much? Because a guy that's making that many catches, I think there'd be a lot of wide receivers that would say, I'm just going to do that and let y'all worry about the rest of it.
Yeah, you don't get to play that position without blocking. So we reward you for playing that position that he plays in this offense and always have.
Yeah, so this is what you're going to tell the other wide receivers is if you want 15 catches, you do these other things?
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald bought in. He got 110. Hines Ward got 100 catches. It just kind of fits the position.
Yeah, you've got a resume of showing that this is what you do as a head coach now. And I have to imagine with him before the game, did you know it was going to be this kind of game for him, or was it kind of as the game developed?
No, you never know. You never know what the other team, how they're going to play you. And we thought maybe we'd get another high two-shell, run the ball game, check it down game. And we got some shots down the field. They challenged us a little bit more, and it's great to see. And I thought we responded extremely well.
When you do have games like the week before where it's the Leonard Fournette show and it's running the ball so much and it's all these rushing touchdowns, and then you have a game like this where it's so pass heavy, does that give you confidence, again, now that you are in December, the fact that your team can win a lot of different ways?
Yeah, it really does. Having done it now a couple of weeks of different ways, and I really like where we're at. Just got to stay healthy and get through December, So I thought defensively we had a slow start, and then we came out a great second half, and the same thing offensively.
And I know Gronk, another 2-touchdown game. Take us through his 2 touchdowns and what worked so well for him.
Yeah, again, work in the middle of the field. Lenny comes out now. Lenny's starting to get action, so they bracketed him. Gronk goes over the top. Great throw by Tom, and he just gets it on in the end zone. The other one was, I don't call that a fair fight. Anytime that he gets out there wide and it's one-on-one man coverage, he's just too big.
Yeah, and now, he has surpassed Isaac Bruce for the 12th most touchdown receptions in league history. He and Brady now, they're surpassing people for the 2nd most touchdown connections total in NFL history. Do you find yourself appreciating the history that you're getting to watch as someone who's been a fan of the league for so long?
Oh, no, there's no doubt. Just, that's a big part of what I believe in. And anytime you're second in the history of or first in the history of, that's big stuff.
It's a big deal. And are you someone that then you know about that and think about that as it comes up the next time that you know what that mark is? Is that something you pay attention to?
Yeah, it's just kind of like incentives too with players. If you need 2 catches, let me know. If it means some money or whatever it is, let me know. We'll get it for you.
Let me know. That's great. I wish I had some incentives as a reporter now that I knew that this was an option. Yeah, in my next contract, that's what we're doing here. And then I know that Cam Brate also ended up getting a touchdown the day of the tight end outside of Chris Godwin here. What worked well for him and that, and it's his 2nd one of the season for him, so I know that it hasn't been super common.
ESPN would say he mossed somebody. He went up over the top, made a heck of a catch. Really good throw by Tom. He put it where only Cam could get it, and Cam's got great hands.
He does. And Fournette also, talk about good hands, beautiful one-handed touchdown catch for him. Tell us a little bit about what his receiving abilities, and I know that was something that had really been harped on his first year with us, and just where you've seen him grow.
Yeah, just consistency. He has, last year he dropped some balls he should never drop, and this year he's just playing at a much higher level and much more consistent.
All right, well, we still have more coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. We were talking about all those many weapons that you had, just producing offense right and left in that game. Mike Evans, it's so funny that we think of it as, Gronk's game and Chris's game, and then you look up Mike's stats, and he had 99 yards. And I just want to hear about his performance and when he's a guy that can have a 99-yard game and it not even be viewed as a Mike Evans game, what that means.
Yeah, again, level of consistency, but boy, he made a shoestring catch that was huge on 3rd down, and a big play down the sideline. I'd like to see that just about 2 feet more to the left, and Mike would have taken it in the end zone. But he's just such a dynamic player, and when he gets one-on-one, the ball's coming.
Yeah, that's so true. And tell us, though, offensively, we got to talk about that pick 6 at the end of the first half. What happened on that play call, and what do you think led to that? Just what maybe you've also learned from it now?
Greed. It's all greed. When we have 58 seconds and 2 timeouts, we think we can score from anywhere. And we threw the screen pass on the first play, and it didn't really go. Try to go with a real safe play that might pop out, and use one of the timeouts and try to get a field goal. And really great play by Marlon Davidson. He read it, got out there. Quarterback's never going to see that guy.
Yeah.
And he's reading the back, releasing, and just great play by them.
And then looking at some of the special teams stuff here, I know there was no Darden in the game. When did you realize he wasn't going to be available, and how you guys made the adjustments for who was going to be involved in the return game? Yeah,
it was all during the week, and Jalen was close, but being a rookie coming off your first concussion, we're not pushing it with his career. He's going to have a bright future. But Gio Bernard, just an unbelievable job. I asked him Tuesday or Wednesday, did you ever catch punts? He said college, and he just went out there, was a natural. And Scotty had been doing it all year. The plan was to use Scotty, but Gio looked just so natural at it. It's like, hey, let's go with him, and he did a heck of a job feeling the ball.
Yeah, what ended up being the reasoning behind, using Perriman maybe instead of Scotty a little bit out there, or Gio instead of Scotty? Was there anything that just this game wasn't lending itself to for Scotty?
BP and Scotty really don't play the same position, and more Tyler. And we mix Tyler in there some, but BP just brings an element of explosiveness to our offense, like Scotty, but with the size of Tyler.
Okay, and then in the special teams area, what about? I know there was the one missed extra point. Anything that you guys have realized or talked to Suck Up about since then?
No, but it needed to stop.
Yeah. That's the message to him at that point. And then that first touch violation with Keyshawn Vaughn, what happened on that play?
He just got down, made a heck of a play, and I thought he caused the fumble, but it did nick his arm as it went in there. But he was right. He was Johnny on the spot to create that havoc.
Yeah, to have that violation means you were kind of in the right place at that point. All right, well, we still have more coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show, so don't go anywhere. We're back on the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians, and only 3 penalties in the game. I'm imagining that's some music to your ears as well.
Much, much better, but really I didn't like the 3rd and 14 when Carlton was just too aggressive, but I love Carlton's aggressiveness, and he really stepped up, and it's great to have him back.
Yeah, if you're going to get a penalty too aggressive is probably the way you're wanting it to come.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and Carlton, getting him back, I have to imagine that was also something that you'd been waiting for a long time, and wanted to hear how the process went of when you knew he'd be ready and what you thought of his first game back.
Thought about it last week, but just wanted to give him one more week of practice, and he really looked great in practice. He's mentally ready to go, and I'd really like to see him get that 100-yard interception at the end that he dropped, but then I think he'd like to have it back too.
Yeah, that's so true. And overall, this was the healthiest this group of guys has been since week 1. Of course, you still ended up losing Jamel part of the game because I think you probably feel at this point like you're just not allowed to have all of your toys at your disposal here. But what was it like to see at the start of the game, having finally all of your week 1 starters at corner out there?
Yeah, all the corners were back, and it looked really good. I mean, and then obviously Jamel goes down. But Pierre came in and made a big play, punching the ball out. And again, those guys have played so much now, so we feel like a great depth in the secondary. Andrew Adams stepped in at safety, did a really fine job. Ross Cockrell played a little bit of safety, played a little bit of nickel. So we've got some nice mix and match pieces back there. Antoine Winfield had a big ball game, and hopefully Jordan Whitehead will be back soon.
Yeah, how did you feel like overall the play of the safeties and whether coverage, their involvement in the run game, missing a couple guys, how did they pick up the slack?
We missed a couple tackles early in the game that we don't normally miss, and gave up some runs. We got out of our gap, we got cut, and we missed tackles, which is not our defense and especially the guys that were missing them. So they tightened it up and shut the running game down after that first drive pretty good. Yeah,
that first drive, you were giving up, I think, 63 yards in rushing when you guys are only allowing 81 in a game going into this. And but then, man, halftime, it just felt like a switch was flipped on the defensive side, especially in the run game and what they allowed. What did you see was the adjustment or what happened between first half to second half on the defensive side?
Better gap control. We were getting chopped down a little bit in the first half, and better backside gap control, better setting the edge, and much better tackling. And it's really, Todd got after him about being aggressive, and we got a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I heard there was a heck of a Bowles speech at halftime, and that he's not necessarily a guy to be doing that he is a little bit more chill on the normal. And
not really, but when he lets it go pretty good.
Yeah. Do we need to bottle that speech and show it before the game this next week?
No, I think everybody got the message.
Yeah, and, once was good.
And Todd does such a great job at halftime adjusting, and the last 3 weeks we've done a great job in the second half.
And then, I mean, man, the interior pressure in that game, when you guys have 5 sacks and 4 of them are coming from your interior linemen, that's not a typical day of stats if you were to see that. So what was working so well from an interior perspective on getting to Matt Ryan?
Yeah, a really good job of the tackles working together, but also the linebackers hitting the A-gaps and twisting between them, and got some good picks by our backers. But those 2 guys both whipped their guys one-on-one too, and got to the quarterback.
Yeah, so take me through the 2 different Vita sacks in particular. His first multi-sack game of his career.
Yeah, I think the first one was a good effort play. The second one was just whip, go, and get him and smother him up. And I thought Sue's third down sack was one of the biggest in the game.
And tell me about both of those. What worked well for Sue? Because at this point he's got 6 on the season already, which matches last year's total and is his most of any year since 2014. So why is Sue able to be getting to the quarterback at a level he hasn't in quite some time?
Yeah, again, those outside guys are getting him one-on-one, and he's still a handful one-on-one, and especially if he's working with somebody. And guys were running good games together, and it was a really good job. Casey Rogers really had him ready to go.
Now, most importantly, there were some pretty amazing celebrations after those big men sacks getting in there, and I would love to know your thoughts when you get to watch that and see them in some of these celebrations that you love.
I love it. I mean, it's just great to see the big guys in action, and they can continue to work on their dance moves.
Are you going to be helping with this? Is this an area of expertise for you?
Not at all.
No.
I used to dance after touchdowns, but a little bit better than they do.
Yeah. So now, I mean, season high sacks given up by the Falcons. I know that even besides the sacks themselves, there was some great pressure. I know Golston got a hit that forced the grounding. And then Cam Gill gets in there on one. Tell me about Cam Gill and what has made you think this is a guy that even when you have so much talent at that position, he has forced a way onto the field.
Yeah, he's earned it. I mean, when he gets out there, he brings a lot of energy and speed. And he had a great power rush and knocked tackle back into the quarterback, got the sack, and that's 2 weeks in a row that he showed up. So when you do that, you get on the field more.
I mean, he just seems like a guy that keeps sort of disproving the odds in some ways, that he was a guy who was undrafted in a year that there was no offseason to try to prove yourself. So even just the fact that he made the roster last year kind of made people say, man, like, what's this guy doing? So what are some of the things that have made you, even from day one, remember that this is a guy that needed to be on the roster despite all the odds against him?
Yeah, a high energy guy with strength and got good size, but you knew he was going to be a special teams player. And from that, you just keep growing, find your role. And he's improved each and every week as a pass rusher, and obviously had to have a sack in the Super Bowl. So, we really like where Cam's at.
And what did you see from Devin and Levante's game?
I thought Devin still isn't where Devin needs to be. He's still playing, he's sucking it up for the team and playing hurt, and it shows a little bit. But I thought his pass drops and pass coverage was pretty good. Levante missed 2 tackles. I've never seen Levante miss, but overall, I thought pass coverage we were good. Run game, we could have been a lot better.
All right, well, we still have one more segment coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show, and that is going to be looking ahead to this next week's game against the Bills. We'll be right back. It's time for our final segment here on the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. Looking forward to this next week. Tell me about this Bills offense. We know this is a team that can go off the same way you guys can in any way, shape, and form. So what are the biggest things that you're going to have to be focusing on?
Well, the biggest dual threat quarterback. Josh Allen, he'll throw it 50 times, but again, he's their best runner. So they get in empty sets and you're thinking it's pass, and they run a quarterback power. So there's so many things that you have to defend with him. And it's very, very difficult. Plus having that great arm and being the competitor he is, and Stephon Diggs and all the weapons, Beasley, all the guys they have, it's a very, very potent offense.
With a guy like Josh Allen, who are the players or positions on your team that have to really execute, and what are the disciplines that end up being most important? Well,
I think it's really everyone, but the front 6 have to be very, very sound in the quarterback run game, and even the read options. Because they run enough read option that they make you play some assignment defense. And especially when we're blitzing, we have to be extremely disciplined.
So how about on the defensive side of things for the Bills? What are the things that come to your mind? I know that they are now without Tre'Davious White, which is a huge impact on their defense. So how do you see them making up for that and the other people outside of him that are still very potent?
Yeah, again, their front, Mario Addison, who I've known forever, and Jerry Hughes, we're all the Colts together way back when, and those guys can really rush the passer. Stards, Telly in the middle. Oliver, it's a great front 4. Outstanding speed linebackers. Obviously, they'll miss White. And I think they're still going to play man-to-man. They're still going to be aggressive. And they got Leslie Frazier is a hell of a defensive coordinator, and Sean McDermott obviously is a hell of a head coach. So it's going to be a big, big challenge at home, and we need the fans to be really fired up for this one. I
get the feeling they will be. There's been a lot of road games lately, and they are ready to go at Raymond James Stadium. And so I know you've talked a lot about December football. What is your message to the team about what that means and the difference in it maybe compared to the rest of the year even?
Well, you play to get to December, And then what do you have to do in December to keep playing? Well, we've put ourselves in great position. And now playing for the first, second, or third seed, that's huge. And it brings energy to the practice. It brings energy to everything. And you have to match everybody's level, especially when you're playing teams who are in the same situation as you. So you have to match that level. And again, it should be rocking at Ray J.
I think it will be. Well, Coach, thank you as always. Congratulations on that win and good luck this next week.
Thank you.
All right. And thanks for you guys for being with us. We'll see you next week.